You have a very special guest, and this is a CD. Chris Whitley, he's here, and we got a close-up on this? Getting close, getting close, getting close. This is it. It's called Living with the Law. It should be in your collection. Make sure you have it, and if you don't have it, after this you will want it. So, without further ado, he'll do what he does best, and we'll come back and talk. Chris, take it.
Thanks. It's sort of the original version of this tune, anyway, called Poison Girl.
First of all, let's talk about your instrument and how you came by this instrument, because a lot of young people have probably never seen an instrument like this before.
It's a 1928 National steel guitar. Yeah. I play a lot of these. I play a lot of electric guitar also, but it's sort of it's a real fun instrument. It's an acoustic guitar. It's got a sort of dirtier tone than a normal acoustic, which I like.
Now, you're a big fan of the blues.
Yeah, I sort of come out of blues. I'm from Houston originally, and what I grew up on, what my parents were listening to, is like early Muddy Waters and Allen, early Johnny Winter and stuff like that.
Is that what inspired you and excited you to play this instrument?
Mostly, yeah. It's mostly between Muddy. He was a slide player, Muddy Waters, and there's a song on the first Johnny Winter record on Columbia, actually, that is called Dallas. It's a steel guitar tune.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now,
that's sort of the tune
that was the one.
Yeah.
And the rest is history, or the rest is actually this. Now, how did you and Danielle hook up? Danielle and Juan Malcolm Byrne.
I met Dan through a mutual friend in New York City. taking some pictures together and playing some guitars together. I didn't know who Dan was, but, and we just met playing guitars, really. And a few days later, I found out who he was, what he had done before, and we just got along, basically, He invited me down to Canada, and, sort of the rest of that is history, but he's a great guy.
Now, where'd you come? Did you come up to Toronto or Hamilton?
I came up once to Hamilton, to visit Dan. Yeah, that was special. It was at Christmas 2 years ago. Yeah.
Now, how did you meet Malcolm at that time?
I met Malcolm through Dan in New Orleans, actually, because they were working down there.
Studio on the Move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
French Quarter stuff. Yeah.
All right, we've got a video with a gentleman that you're going to be opening up for, Tom Petty, because you're going to be back to play.
Yeah.
Like to really, really play.
With a band, yeah.
With the band on, I guess, the only Canadian date on the tour.
Yeah, as far as I know right now, unless we get out west or something. But yeah, it's about the most criterion that we took. I mean, it's a sort of abstract thing, but also, when you're working on a tune and arranging something and trying to get at something, it sort of shows itself when it's done. I mean, at least in that situation, it really did for us. If we had any questions about it, we knew it wasn't finished yet, So, yeah.
Now, you were saying the record's a little bit softer than the live performance.
Yeah. I'm playing more electric and stuff, and I sort of come out of a blues rock thing. When it comes down to real songwriting, it's sort of an intimate thing for me, It's a kind of late night alone thing, and live, you can't do the sort of things that you do in a studio, and it's also not the lasting thing. It's like one time record you listen to over and over again, so you want it to be colorful and stuff.
Colorful, consistent,
and consequent and everything. And the live thing, it can be a little more raw and just kind of energetic, Yeah.
Now tell me about the track "Living with the Law."
It's something I wrote between New York and L.A. I actually finished it in a hotel in L.A. So I started writing while I was working in Brooklyn in a ghetto over there in a factory, and living in New York City. Just sort of assimilating the city thing, hard stuff, brutal stuff.
Very.
Yeah.
When you decided to, or when you got signed, and the record company came around and heard you, was there anything that they wanted to pull out of you? Any way that they wanted to present you? Because
I was really, the producer Malcolm too. They pretty much left us alone. We actually did a little recording together before I signed to Columbia. It was right at the time that I had, it looked pretty good that I could get a deal, and we just got together and we did Living with the Law in a day and a half, actually, including the rehearsing for it. We just played it, went through it, and recorded it, and it was basically mixed. Mm-hmm. Most of the song, it was the first mix that we did that second day. They heard that, and it was sort of like, I don't know what, they just trusted it, or they left it alone. People would poke in or want to hear tapes all the time. They were concerned about it, but it wasn't like, this is not going to be a dance record or something. There wasn't any formula to follow, so there weren't, they just were behind it, which is really cool.
Now, the version of Living with the Law that you did in a day and a half, is that the version that's on the record?
That's the one on the record, yeah.
This is the one.
The first verse, the vocals are a little louder than the second mix, and the rest of the song is exactly the same.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing you with Tom Petty. You got to come back when your hand's feeling better and do some more.
Thanks a lot, man.
All right, man.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is Living with the Law. This is the record. Chris Whitley. It's been here.